Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video of my creative life with Kelssweetie, where we read books and we make art. And during a certain time of year, we start Halloween decor decorating. Today, we are doing something a little different. We are not Halloween hauling and we're not Halloween hunting. We're actually kind of shopping what we already got at home. We are showing bits and pieces, and this is a part of a bigger series. So this is part one, episode one of me going through my Halloween collection and showing y'all what I have. I mentioned in another video recently, the fact that a lot of us who've been home like Halloween decor hunting for a while actually have a good amount at home. And I know that in past years, I've been guilty of buying up things because they may look cute in the store, but later on realizing I maybe already have something that looks like that and I didn't really need to get it, or the fact of the matter is that sometimes we'll buy things in that moment and then a whole year later we'll go, why did I get that? But also just realizing and having some of the fun of also seeing the Halloween decor that we have at home. I think a lot of us wait until this time of year for there to be Halloween in the stores to get that serotonin boost, to see it around the corner and hunt for it, and it's amazing. But also I think that some of our Halloween decor at home, seeing it pulled out is sometimes just as serotonin boosting and amazing. And also in this past year or so, I've really collected a lot of vintage Halloween that I'm proud of, and I want to share it with y'all. I don't think that I've ever done a Halloween collection or Halloween decor collection series with y'all. I do an unhaul video every year on my Patreon channel, so people get to see everything I have in one single video, which you can go and check that out over there and see what I got rid of last year. But I thought that this would be a cool way to, one, get that serotonin boost of getting that vintage Halloween that I love to see, but also just getting a better idea of what I have for my themes this year. I think right now I'm in this space where I do know that I want to get some more vintage VHS rental store things to kind of feed that theme in my living room, because I don't really have a lot of that stuff. But as for my trick-or-treat area, my haunted mansion area, and even my gothic Halloween area for my Monster Mash, I have a good amount of stuff that I think I already have for that area, and I don't want to overbuy things that I already have something to kind of fill that idea in my mind. I know that last year doing my Monster Mash area especially, I thought I have no Monster Mash things, which in theory, yeah, I didn't, especially after I did my unhaul. But by the end, I realized I overbought some monster things, and I didn't need to buy some of those things. So I hope that this kind of feeds a lot of different things. One, kind of looking at our stuff and being happy with a lot of stuff that I've already collected instead of just over consuming, but also just kind of showing y'all the power and the beauty of a vintage Halloween collection that I can share with y'all, because I'm actually really proud of it and I love the things that I've collected so far, especially some of the things that I got last year from eBay. Today we are going to start with a box and maybe two boxes. We'll see how much is in this box. I don't want these to be too long, but we're gonna see what's in this box first. I have one other box pulled out that looks like it's mainly my Halloween bust that I've painted over the years. I think that that's a small enough box that I can maybe get away with doing two, but I don't know how much is in this box because I packed it away a whole year ago, and to be honest with you, it felt a lot lighter than it did last year. The power of working out, I know, lifting weight. But I don't know how much may be in here. If this gets too long, we'll save that box for maybe episode 2 when we continue with this, because I really do want to go through all of them because I'm excited to see all of them. And I know that I'm going to start decor. I'm going to start putting up the decor end of next month, which is crazy to kind of say out loud, but but I don't want to wait that long. And while I'm out here hunting and stuff, I want to have a better idea of what I have, because it's been a year and I have a ton of stuff. So let's get into the video. A very long intro to explain what all of this is and everything, but let's get right into it. I'm really excited to show y'all what I have in my vintage Halloween decor. So I'm a little far back over here. That's because I have the box sitting in front of me. I'm thinking whether or not, hold on a minute, hold on. I think there's a better way for me to do this where I know that I have a mic, I'm mic'd up, but I don't want to be like shouting to you. So give me one moment, Okay, there was a better way to do that. I just needed to turn the box sideways next to me. Okay, starting off is a find that I remember I found at the very end of Halloween decor hunting season, and it was at an estate sale. Y'all, I've talked so much about how amazing estate sales are, and honestly, this was a good reason as to why I found these amazing hanging vintage monsters. Now, I don't think that these are Bestel or like the vintage Bestel ones. I'm not seeing a mark on them anywhere, but they are most certainly vintage, and they're giving kind of 70s. I think these might be 70s. There's, again, no copyright on them, so there's no way, well, I could Google lens it to check, but I still can't believe I found these. So I found this one along with like a pirate skeleton one. This guy has like, I love these kind of things here where like he's holding this potion bottle, which I guess he has to like take in order to like stay alive or something. And he's got these Frankenstein like potions on the edge of him, and then his little foot is kind of like broken from escaping Dr. Frankenstein. So Frankenstein's monster is just here. I really, really love this guy, and I can't believe I got him. Again, estate sales, y'all. He wasn't a specific price. They just gave him a price for like some of the overall stuff that I got. But I remember that day that they sold it, they were like, oh, this whole box will be $35. So who knows how much this was in the grand scheme of things, but I paid far cheaper than I should have for something this amazing and vintage. And I also found this great guy. So he's a tad bit more beat up than the Frankenstein was. He's missing a hand. But honestly, I don't think it's a problem considering that he's like a little pirate skeleton guy. He's got like this horseshoe that's his rib, and like this plank that's a collarbone, which I think are really, really cute, honestly, and these earrings and pocket watches. And then like he even has this little foot that's been like locked up because he's like a prisoner and everything, a pirate prisoner. I think that he's so cute. And again, I think that these are amazing because they don't really do this anymore. This was obviously painted by somebody, and then they printed it out and reproduced it. But I think that's the fun of a lot of vintage stuff, is that it was handmade at one point in time, and they figured out how to reproduce it to like put it out there. But there's a handmade quality to vintage Halloween that you just don't get now. And I think that's what we're kind of missing. I think a lot of people have kind of spoken about this, about why some of the Halloween decor that we're seeing right now feels cutesy, even though it's aiming for vintage Halloween, is because it's too mass produced. There's not a human hand there, and because of that it looks too clean, and therefore it starts to look too cutesy. Like if this didn't have all these paint strokes and stuff like that, I feel like it would have looked too clean and felt more mass produced and something that feels very vintage. And I think that's what's been missing from some of the things we've been seeing in home goods that is aiming for that vintage quality and that vintage look. Like there's a reason why people love Bethany Lowe and Joanna Parker and stuff like that, because it seems like it's a handmade quality. You can see brush strokes, you can see bumps in the clay and stuff like that. That's what we need to bring back. I just realized that from looking at this stuff, why it hasn't been hitting. I think this is a good example of what I just spoke about. Like this was from, I think it was the 99-cent store before they closed recently. They had like these just little signs that you could just pop out. This was like 99 cents. But like this is a vintage like Halloween cat, but there's something about it that looks too clean. And that's why it looks a tad cutesy. Not very, very cutesy, but just slightly than something like what I just showed you. And it's because like, well, all of this is really clean. It was done with a brush. It was done with a machine. It was digitally done. So I think that that's the reason why it may be coming off just like, oh, that's obviously newer. I put all of my signs in one bag. You know what? Shout out to past me for being so organized with and delicate with her things. I love her for that. I have this simple, cheap little tombstone. You never know when you may need a styrofoam tombstone. Nothing special. But you never know when you may just need to throw it up somewhere. I also, these were from a small business. This was from One Man Riot online. I'll link him down below as I talk about some of the stores that are like small businesses. He did these like vintage die cuts that are from, cult classic scary movies. So this was from Scream. As some of y'all know, I'm a huge Scream fanatic. If you couldn't tell from this sweatshirt, which also is from an Etsy shop, I'll link it down below. I've been wanting some of these for a while, and he finally put them on sale. And I think that they, again, going back to that handmade quality, because he did draw these and then added this like roughness to them with a brush in design that makes them look washed out, they have this very great vintage quality to them, even though they're brand new. Like, I just bought these last year, and like the washed out orange from them and everything, this is one of my favorites, since it's like the very first scene when he calls Casey Becker. But it also has like the, you know, the corn down here in the bottom and the leaves and the scarecrow, and it feels very, very classic Halloween, but it combines this new age like references that I absolutely love. And then he even used this like this good old-fashioned weird looking moon, that creepy cute quality that vintage Halloween is just known for, and having this like this ghost base up here in the top. So I love this collection he does. He does Ghostface. I think he does Chucky. Chucky's a popular one that he does every year. He does Leatherface. He does Jason. He does Freddy. I think that's the lineup. I think that's who he does every year. I don't know. He even has like adorable, I mean, I'd put adorable in air quotes because they're horror movies, but also he's known for his Valentine's Day cards that look very vintage, Cupid pinup type of thing, but they're horror movies, and those are also amazing. Like, really check him out if you can. His stuff sells out very quickly, and for good reason. They're amazing. This I got from this place called Halloweentown in Burbank here in LA, in the LA area. They sell Halloween all year round, which is great. If you're looking for a serotonin of Halloween, that place is great for you. I will say that they're well known around the area, and so because of that, they have a lot of licensed goods and are a little pricey. So just know, if you see something in there that you like, more than likely you're gonna have to spend a pretty penny. This wasn't that expensive because it came in a universal pack, and I think that they couldn't really upcharge it too much. But there's some other ones in there. This was a one of those movable die cuts, and it's of Michael Myers, and I love that because it had that vintage quality of it moving. But also, if you look closely at the face, it's kind of got these, it's looks like it's painted. So again, I think I'm just going to keep on going back to that. This whole quality of something being handmade and that feeling of like somebody's hand being involved in something gives it that vintage quality. And what I loved is that Universal actually did reach out to artists to do these pieces. So it wasn't somebody from their like in-house or, you know, a brush or design that they just went over a regular picture with. They actually reached out to artists and they did these. I forget, I even think One Man Riot maybe was a part of one of the collections. I'm not remembering off the top of my head who was involved with this one per se, but I do know for a fact that they did reach out to actual artists to do these. And so that was really great. This is another one from that collection, the infamous Halloween pumpkin that has the little slit down the nose. This was also a really great one as well. That was a part of that die cut. I think it was like 15 bucks, and I think I got 5 die cuts out of it, which I thought was a pretty good price, to be honest, for a licensed material like that. This was also a fantastic one. I love this one because it really gave that first grade, like they would put this up. Like, it also gives Scooby-Doo. Like, it gives that Scooby-Doo art style, kind of, and I really love that as well. This one, again, there's another monochrome one that is like a sketch of Michael's house, along with Bob the Ghost outside, which I really love that one as well. And I think this one's the last one in that that entire die cut package, and that was Bob the Ghost. Okay, these are new, but they're new Bessel. So if you know, Bessel is a very well-known vintage die cut company. You can buy them vintage and they're fantastic, but they still are in business, and so they still make, you know, new ones all the time, just in their original designs, which is great if you're like, you know, you don't want to hunt for them and pay $5 million, because people do charge quite a bit for them. This was a part, I have more of these, but this was a part of they had like a pumpkin die cut collection. And these are pretty like clean. Now, the front of them are a little brighter, but the back of them definitely are like more paper and not coated, and so they have a little bit more vintage, but you can't see them just as clearly. And then they also had these very bright 70s type of cutouts as well. Like this very neon color is giving very late 70s that I really loved. And we have this owl here that's fantastic. I'm not sure if I put these up last year, to be honest. Then we have this pumpkin gentleman, and we have the classic witch as well. These are actual vintage, which are amazing. And I found them as well at that estate sale where I found the other just fantastic die cuts. These are very giving much first grade classroom. And this one was kind of taped together, and it was kind of double-sided for that. So I chose the better side to kind of put my command strip. That if anyone's asking how do I put these up, I put command strips onto the back of them. And that way all I have to do in the future is just buy a new pack of command strips and then click them together onto the wall. And when I've tried it for these that are not too delicate, so if it's really delicate, I don't try this, but you can still rip the command strip off like you do like on the wall and everything if you're just slow and delicate. With these ones that have the shiny coating on them, if they don't have a shiny coating, that won't work, and also if they're far too delicate. So that's how I put these up. I don't use tape because, as you can see with like the back of this one with the tape still hanging off of it, after years of putting the tape up and taking the tape down, it just slowly rips at the fiber. So instead I just put one on the back of it, and I know I'm going to put it up, either lean it against something, and that way I only have to click it in. That's my secret, y'all. It's not that big of a secret, to be honest, but it's out the bag. So these like amazing little die cuts, like they really give first grade classroom. Like I feel like these were in my first grade classroom up on like a bulletin board or something. I feel like we're nearing the end of the die cuts. Here's more from that One Man Riot collection that had Ghostface in it. This was a really great one as well, with his trick-or-treat bag and his like little knife and everything. I thought that was cute. This one I also got some time back before I got the Michael one from Halloweentown, and it was a part of Universal's. It was another Universal collection as well. This one's huge. So when I got this, it was only this one. I didn't get like tons in the like it's not gonna even fit in the whole picture. It was it. You bought this one and there weren't any other ones. So I'm gonna have to show it like bit by bit because he's basically the height of somebody. See, I have to do that. I put this on like my office door during like the season, and I think now seeing this is probably gonna be great for my VHS space, because I feel like something like this would be like up on the wall or anything during that time, like in a local like vintage small VHS store, a rental store. This is very much like giving 80s again with like the dots and everything, so it's not super like painted like 70s, I would say, or early 80s. It's definitely giving into a later 80s type of look, but I think that is really great, and it's humongous. I don't think that it looks as vintage as the other ones do. I forget how much I paid for this one, but I think that it was around $15, which I still think might be a little expensive considering there was only one in there, but you did see just how tall he was, so it's not like, it wasn't for anything. It wasn't for nothing. And then also, this is going to be probably great to use in that vintage VHS store. This is just a simple popcorn box. I found this at Midsummer Scream. Like, I'd gotten popcorn and they put it in a bag or something along those lines, but I asked them if I could have one of their boxes, and they're like, yeah, sure. It just has like a very vintage look to it, and so I think this is going to be great to probably use for my vintage VHS store in kind of like the snack area I want to build out. So yeah, it's not vintage, but it looks vintage enough for me personally. Y'all, that was all of my die cuts. And that was 22 minutes worth of time. So I'm gonna see about moving through the rest of this, but that was already a lot, and it was just die cuts. I didn't know that I had that many die cuts, but see, that's why we're doing this. Another very exciting piece, and it's honestly very delicate, is this Collegeville Costumes costume. Yeah, we're gonna double up on the word there. costume of Casper. It's a kid's costume and it's in extremely great condition. Considering even the box, which is, you know, delicate more so on this side, and as you saw, like a little piece of the very delicate chipboard is chipping away, and I got it for 15 bucks. In that same area in Burbank where Halloweentown is, I went to Horror Vibes. No, it's not that. Camp Horror. I'm going to put it down below. I can't remember what they're called right now because they also have an interactive space, and they have they're like 3 stores all connected. But they're in that area in Burbank and everybody's always going there. But somehow I found this for only 15 bucks. I think it was because of where the how the box was, because the costume inside is actually still really good condition, and the box is still gorgeous. I mean, you can still put it up and definitely see it. Last year I put it with a lot of my trick-or-treat stuff, and this year I'll be going up with my trick-or-treat stuff again. I just, you know, need to be delicate with it. Another costume that I have that's a little less delicate, but I got it for a really great price off of eBay last year. It was for 20 bucks. I can't believe I still got it for 20 bucks last year. It was this off-brand Spider-Man costume from Ben Cooper. I don't know how I got this for 20 bucks. I think the guy was really just trying to get rid of the stuff in his garage, and this was from his own, like, when he was a kid. And this I can kind of take out. This mask. The mask is like not broken. It's still in really great condition. And even the costume itself, which is that flame retardant costume that everyone loved, it's so cute, y'all. I love it. I still cannot believe I got such a great box. And it says Spider-Man on it. So that's the other thing too, is I'm just kind of like, it says Spider-Man on it. It was a Marvel costume. It's a recognizable character. I don't know how he wasn't selling it for more. He must have been just trying to get rid of it. And I got really, really lucky because Ben Cooper masks are just going up in price, y'all. Every single year I feel like I'm seeing that they're like asking more and more. I had spoken about this in my spooky swap meet vlog. Even going to the swap meet and seeing people charge $50 for one mask, $100 for one mask or costume box was insane. And just more proof again that you have to look on eBay and just bide your time, and you can find something really amazing like this. Now, the screen on the box is broken, but to be honest, I don't think that that's a huge problem considering how I take care of my items and stuff. I'm not rubbing it up against too much, and again, I think that the stuff in here is in such great condition and isn't breaking down. I can't believe it. And the box is so amazing. Like, the box is in really fantastic condition in comparison to the one that I just showed y'all. So again, this is my pride and joy, y'all. More masks and die cuts. So this one that I'm about to show you is from Gouldsville Home Decor. So you can see a larger version right behind me of the Frankenstein from Gouldsville. I've shown that in another like small business video that I've done here. I don't think that they sell them right now. I'm hoping that they bring them back. I don't know why they would stop selling them. But they also have these smaller ones as well. And I got these from one of they call them Scratch and Sniff. Which really is just, they weren't perfect, and so that's why they didn't sell them full price, and I got this during a sale, and it was $8, which was crazy. I'm thinking I may end up putting it behind me, like, for year round in that area. I think seeing some of this stuff, I'm like, you could put some of this in just your craft corner. But, yeah, that was for $8. There are some smaller vintage die cut in here. Here are some of the pumpkins that were a part of that set that I showed from one of them earlier. And these are all new stock Bessel. And here are some really small ones. So they just get smaller and smaller, which I love to kind of throw these up with some of my traditional Halloween items, like in the background. Last year I had this on, since my vintage Halloween was on my shelves, I had it behind some of the white space for my Halloweentown that I had up on my shelves, and that filled up some spaces that needed more Halloween in it. This is also surprisingly not vintage. It was bought brand new, and I bought them from, again, Halloweentown. I'm not going to set it up entirely, but when you put it up, it's one of those honeycombs, And when I put it all together, it'll stand up just like that, which I think looks amazing. I absolutely love it. A little scaredy cat. And that looks really cute. This was also bought new, but this was one of those jack-o'-lantern games, which I love. You apparently, like, you're supposed to spin the numbers and try to get, like, what your fortune would be. The thing is that the spinner doesn't really spin too quickly. So I kind of just set it at 31 every year. There we go. I just set it at 31 every year, or even if you flip it, you've got 13, and then set them up on my coffee table. I think that I may put this up with my trick-or-treat, vintage trick-or-treat stuff, along with that honeycomb. I want to go very vintage looking in that space, but I also know I have a lot of 90s vintage stuff that would fit in that area too. I have a lot to work with as far as that's concerned, but I really want to do it upright. And finally, in this little baggie, we have another find from that great estate sale that I had gone to and found those great die cuts. We have some vintage Halloween party hats. One has like these ghosts and spiders. Another has this cemetery, have like these spooky eyes and an owl. There's one in here that I love. Okay, this is the one. It has this Dracula and witch with the like poison apple, which I think that they look so funny. It was great. Even like the little baggie that it came in is still fantastic. So these will definitely go in my trick-or-treat area as well. This was a Funko that I bought for my movie area that has like Michael and how for the classic Halloween look. I don't think that this is probably going to go up in, I got it for my movie area last year. Obviously, this wouldn't really make sense in my VHS area. I'm sure I'll find somewhere to put this year, but very, very cute and something new. I haven't really been buying Funkos much anymore. Last year, I basically hit my quota on it, and they've just been keep on going up on the prices. So we used to be Halloween, like Funko collectors for sure. If you've seen any of my booktube videos, especially, or my vlogs, or when I'm just sitting here in my office chair, you see behind me that we have our Marvel collection, which has quite a few Funkos in it. We haven't bought any in a very long time, and I think it's just because they've oversaturated and stuff like that. So I don't know how many Funkos you may find as we keep on going through here, but don't expect like a ton of them, and I'm especially not going to buy any like soon, to be honest. So these are great, and these will be perfect for my VHS. I think that I'm going to actually leave these VHS out and put them along with the rest of my other VHS that I've collected so far, because I did know that I had some. I just didn't know what I had, but I knew I had some good ones because of my 90s decor area from last year. So we had Casper, we have Goosebumps, which I got this off of eBay last year, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was a little pricey. It wasn't like too pricey, like crazy. I think I paid $20 for it, which honestly I think is it's more than I'm willing to pay for any VHS, to be honest, but I knew why was because it was the Haunted Mask and it was Goosebumps. That stuff goes for a good amount of money, especially anything that's the Haunted Mask featured. So I was willing to do it because one, I was doing this 90s look. I had to have a Goosebumps reference to it somewhere within it. But now, no, I would not I would not pay $20 for even any sort of VHS, to be completely honest with you. I just couldn't see myself doing that. I also have Halloweentown. I actually got this off of Etsy for a good amount of money. It wasn't a crazy like amount of money whatsoever. It was from this Etsy seller called Matinee Studios, and they just do a fake VHS cassette tape. I don't think that Halloweentown ever came out on VHS. And that's why they do the fake tape, because a lot of these Disney Channel movies didn't come out on actual home video. So because of that, I just ended up picking up this fake one. It's still going to work perfectly fine in my 90s VHS rental store. And this will be going in that children's section. If you saw like a Halloween haul video that I think that one's going to come out before this one, you'll see that I bought some genre signs, and this would of course go in the children's section. Some other VHS that I found at that estate sale was an Real Monsters Night Out VHS, which it is a yellow cassette, which I love. You know, if you are a millennial, you know that that was your sign that you had a verified Nickelodeon tape in your hand. I think that Nickelodeon made it so that nobody else could even make orange tapes. Like that, they had a monopoly on that or a copyright on that or something. But I remember finding this and was really excited. I love Real Monsters, and it was fantastic to kind of find a VHS for that. I found this while I was thrifting, and that was It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I was surprised that I actually found this because I've not found a lot of the It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown or the Christmas special while I've been out Halloween decor hunting at the thrift stores. So it was really great to find this for such a great price, to be honest. This isn't a VHS cassette tape, but I did get it at Home Goods, I want to say about a year or two ago, and that was this Halloween, like those fake books. I did like this though because it did kind of look like a spell book. I ended up kind of painting over the witch a little bit, just so to make her skin just a tad bit darker and everything to match my decor. If you look on the back, this is how she originally looked. And this works, of course, in any sort of witch space. I'm probably going to have this in my haunted mansion space, I want to say, because I could see myself having a spell book in that space. This was used in my practical magic space since I was doing more of a apothecary practical magic type of thing. Not something that was exactly right on the nose, but I did want to do a very garden witch type of space, but she was also like a medicine witch. And so but from the 70s. You see, I get very specific. So I did find these Red Cross, this vintage box of Red Cross bandages, which I thought was really great, and it looked good amongst all of some of my other medical equipment that I had in this apothecary. So I do have this. This isn't probably going to fit anything else in my home decor or for this year, so I'm not really pressed on putting it out again, but it's good to know that I have for future reference. Maybe if I do like a mad scientist type of space or a Frankenstein, like lab type of thing, maybe next year. This was from last year's 90s decor, and I got this off of eBay as well. It was one of the great the McBoo buckets that they keep on releasing now. And honestly, I don't think that any of them have looked as good as the originals did back in like early 90s, late 80s, I think was the prime for the Boo buckets. So I did get one of them. I didn't I'm not trying to collect the entire collection or anything, but of course they had these cute little cutters, and inside of this I did great packing, and so I put these in there. So we have some small little buckets. These were from the 99-cent store. I have like a bunch of these probably scattered throughout a ton of boxes, as well as I got these from eBay for, I can't believe I got a whole thing of these for $35 because these go for far more. Again, I think somebody was trying to get rid of them, and that's these vintage Halloween noisemakers. So, and you can tell from this one, it has a wooden handle, so it is pretty old. It's not a reproduction or anything. It sounds really great, but this alone, people are selling these for like $45 a piece. So I'm still surprised that I even got that for how much I did. Of course, this stuff will be going in my trick-or-treats, vintage trick-or-treat space that I'm doing this year. So I have two. I have one that's definitely newer and one that's older, but these little ratchet noisemakers, which again, these go for so much money. I've seen them on eBay for so much. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I know. This is the newer one though, because it does have a plastic handle on it. I'm trying to see a copyright on it, and I'm not seeing it. But this one is one that was made in the USA. It's not German, which the German Halloween stuff is really, really expensive. I think this one was also made in the USA. Yeah, but by the same company as well. And this one you can tell is older because of the handle. And I think this one's a better one. Yes, so much better quality. Of course, because it was older, because it's wood, it's not just the plastic and everything. This also looks amazing, but I still can't believe that I got those, and they look so, so great. For the amount of money I paid for them, insane. Again, just bide your time, y'all. Really, truly bide your time on eBay. There were trading cards that I collected for my movie area last year. So I did get some vintage unopened playing cards that were a part of something called Fright Flicks, which the cover for it is like one of those, there we go. It was a part of those, what's it called? Bubblegum type of trading cards that I ended up getting at like a swap meet. And these were really amazing cards. We had Vengeance the Demon, which that's great. Love that. And then we also had, what is this? American Werewolf in London. Fantastic. And then Freddy, of course, he's featured on the front of the trading cards. My camera is not focusing for some reason. Here we go. Then what else did we have in here? This is the Day of the Dead. We've got Aliens in here. There we go. I just need to warm up. And then I think we have some more that are featured in here. Oh, this one is The Fly. Fantastic. There we go. Oh my gosh. The focus on my camera today, like all of a sudden is just screwing up. So yeah, we have all of those. That was from the Fright, what is it? Fright Flicks, Bubblegum. They were like unopened vintage. I forget what they call it when it's like, it's vintage, but it hasn't been opened. It's not dead stock, but yeah. So we have those. I also bought from a fantastic, oh, these were also from the Fright Flicks. I was like, I knew I had more. We have another Freddy card. This is from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is fantastic. And then we also have Fright Night, fantastic 80s werewolf film. No, vampire, not werewolf. Then we also had, what is this, Alien? There we go. The back of it's really great too because they have all of these, if you can read it, there we go. All these great facts about the movie. And then finally, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So there's a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street in this one, of course, because of Freddy being on the cover. So that was for that entire pack. And then these were from Jack's Attic. So they're a creator and they like make fake trading cards, but they look fantastic. They usually base theirs on wrestlers and sci-fi films and horror films, and they come up with some amazing ideas for their trading cards. I don't know how they're not constantly selling out of their stuff, but they're fantastic work. I'm going to link them down below, and I think I've talked about them in other videos before, but we have this Night of the Living Dead card. Fantastic. And the back of it is also something as well that has to do with the movie. After that one of Ben, we have Tom and Judy from Night of the Living Dead as well. And this one is a black and white one. And I love that these look like they were actually drawn like the actual vintage bubblegum packs of trading cards. And this one also has a great back to it. And what's really great is that not only are they numbered, but they're also in these sealed trading card packs. So it really feels like they're actual authentic ones. This is also Night of the Living Dead. Then I also got some Michael Myers and some Halloween cards as well from him. I love how the stickers that he chose for the tops of these. So they always kind of feel in line with what the card is. They're not just simply up at the top. This one is Lori. And then we also have this one that feels more like a baseball trading card, like an actual vintage baseball trading card that has Lori and her friends who were not final girls. I love his cards. I'm constantly like telling myself I can't buy more until I have a reason. But I want to display these kind of all year because just to have them put away for Halloween decor kind of feels like a missed opportunity to have them out all year because they're so amazing. But I got to figure out how to display them. And then I also have just some, I think there's only these two, but I'm surprised that I don't have more. I'll probably find more as I'm going through them. These are some X-Files cards that I also found in a dead stock vintage pack as well. And of course, we have Spooky Mulder and the A-Team, huge X-Files fan. Speaking of X-Files, when I was at Midsummer Scream this year, I picked up, this was like $20, but it was from a creator, and it's just a, like, it's, I don't know if he's 3D printed or what, but he's a alien that was put in this, like, jar, and you can put, like, water in there and stuff. I don't want to do that because it ruins the integrity of the piece and stuff, and I'm not really into that. I put instead this, like, green, like paper shredder stuff in there instead, which I think is fine from far away. But this was part of like my X-Files shelf that I had started building out for my movie mash area, and I thought it was a lot of fun. This is only $20 again, and I got it from a creator, but it was perfect for that. I don't see this being a part of something this year in regards to any of my themes per se, but it's nice to know that I have a little weirdo alien if I ever want to do an X-Files type of space. I got this from Joann's last year, and it was probably one of my first purchases that I got from Joann's. It was this planter, but I really loved it as kind of like a little bowl that I could put stuff inside of. I'll probably be using this for my vintage trick-or-treat area. I thought that he just kind of looked really vintage with this little turned up Hobbit shoes, witch shoes that he had, and this classic black and white striping here. Very simple, but I felt like the orange was kind of that dusty orange that feels very vintage, and even his face was very classic. So RIP Joann's, but this is what I got last year from their last Halloween collections. These were thrifted last year, and they were also for my movie area. I don't know if I'm going to be using these for my VHS rental area this year, but they were like $2 a piece from the thrift store. So they're here if I ever decide to do some movie type of thing again. It was really great to have these because I use little containers like the planter I just showed you, or little containers like this as places to put small figurines. So I'll fill it up the bottom with like packing paper that I use to put a lot of these things away in storage, and then fill the top with kind of that shredder paper that you saw in that alien jar, and then on the top I'll put figurines or cards or some of my small things to kind of sit inside of it. And that's how I kind of have learned to display things in that maximalist way. So I really love little containers like this to use like platforms. This vinyl I got off of eBay last year, and it was the Monster Mash vinyl. This was pretty cheap. I was surprised. It was like $8. And it was cool that there's this little monster maze on the back of it. They just don't do fun stuff like that, I feel like, anymore on, like, vinyl, which is just fun. This is hilarious. Also, it was in really great condition that somebody didn't just draw on the back of it. But also, this cover. Love this cover. Oh, I love this cover so much. It was a lot of fun, and I'm probably going to put it in my trick-or-treat area this year because it felt great. Although it wasn't 90s, although I remember having class Halloween parties and having this plain, of course not over a CD, not a vinyl, but I feel like the colors were perfect for what I was doing last year with 90s with this neon. I think one thing that I'll run into this year is having probably a lot of trick-or-treat things to have in the area, but not having, trying to figure out what the color kind of is, because a lot of that 90s stuff is neon. Vintage Halloween is much more like muted colors, and I think that this year that's going to be something I'm going to run into a lot. This is one of my vintage candy boxes. You've probably heard a lot on this channel if I've been decorating, or even in my last Halloween haul. I get these vintage kind of candy boxes for my vintage Halloween areas because I use them as pedestals. It works as decor, and it works as a way for me to display things as well as just lift things up and take up more space so that everything isn't just the same level. So I really love these. I think I got the idea from Tim Holtz and his Halloween decor video. Actually, I got a lot of ideas in regards to how I decorate now from Tim Holtz Halloween decorate video. So make sure you check that out if you have not. It really changed my life kind of seeing it. But I get these off of eBay for really cheap. I will never pay over $20 for a box, and I do free shipping. Like, I refuse to pay more than that, although I will say I've been noticing again, these are going up in price. So if you see a good price for them, or even you see a very low bid for them and you don't think that anybody's really looking for them, I recommend you to check it out if you are looking to do the same with your Halloween decor. I've also, is great, is that I use these boxes as places to decor smaller items, and it helps not take up so much space and make sure that things are kind of in where they need to be. So in this box, I have another vintage noisemaker, which I was surprised that, again, I got a great price on. This one is one of those clacker ones. This is great. It has a witch on the front, and you can't really see him, but there's also a skeleton there because of the rust. But I love the rust. The rust gives it very vintage look. Just don't touch too much of it and have all your shots. So I'll put this again with the rest of my trick-or-treat stuff when the time comes. But again, I got that one off of eBay. Any really vintage items that I have, I probably got off eBay. I don't, unless it's a really good price, I don't really buy it from the antique malls or the antique stores just because of how much it costs. And then also thrifting. Sometimes I just get really lucky with thrifting. And as I've said before, even estate sales have been a new thing that I'm like, that's where we really need to be hitting before they even get to the antique stores. The other last thing that's in this box is actually a Friday the 13th NES cassette. I can't believe that I kind of got this. I actually got the idea of getting this from Jack's Attic. He put out a trading card that had to do with the NES game for Friday the 13th, and I thought that it would be really great to have it in my 90s vintage Halloween section. I don't know if I'm going to have it there or have it in my VHS rental store. I could see something like this being in that, so I don't know. It could live in either space, in my opinion, since I feel like this is very like a Halloween party type of thing rather than trick or treat. But we'll see. But I can't believe that I still got this for such a small like amount of money on eBay, because these go for a good amount of money. Again, you just gotta bide your time when it comes to eBay. Another vintage candy box. This one, I think that I thought that it would be bigger, but I'm still happy with it because I do need different sizes. But this is still in really great condition and buying it off of eBay. The only thing that is in here are these little, they used to glow in the dark. They don't really anymore, which is fine. I really like the like kind of aged white of them now, but they're like a little skeleton garland that I got from the 99 cents some time back, and I put them up amongst all of my leaves that I usually put up around my bookcase area, so I just kind of plopped them in here. We're nearing the end. Another vintage tin. I think this is one of my first tins. Now I have like 2 others or 3 others now, but this is like a little Reese's tin. I think that this was a collector's like tin, so it's not actual vintage. However, this was released in 1987, so now it is considered vintage, which is crazy. Okay, there's a bunch of my vintage, like they're not Halloween tree, but I kind of put them on some of my spooky trees on my coffee table to have a vibe. This is not, but it came with a bunch of other stuff that I got during an estate sale, so I just kind of plopped it in there, and it was vintage looking enough. I just like putting it amongst some of my other things that I put inside of candy bowl heads when I'm decorating. This, I think, is originally from Hallmark, and it's vintage. It's like a little witch. There we go. So that's the Hallmark witch. They had these on a little Halloween tree that they had stuffed with everything, and I just pulled off a ton of the things that were on there that were really vintage looking and great. Let's see if this is going to kind of be a problem with focus for the rest of these. This actually was from Joann's last year. I love this one, and it looked like vintage in my opinion as well, and I thought it was really cute. And it's kind of substantial. It can stand up on its own, so it also works as kind of a tiny figurine. These are one of those classic, what are they called? Like hors d'oeuvre knives or like butter knives. I have no real use for a butter knife, but I like, again, sticking them inside of some of the bowls so you don't even see that portion, and just having the little cat with the pumpkin sticking out, since I think that looks really cute. We also have 2 very vintage Japanese Halloween picks. I can tell that this person also is kind of a collector, because honestly, only other collectors would find any use of these, but they do run for a good amount of money. Like, you would have to find a lot of them online, specifically on eBay. We have some finger puppets as well that were in those a little collection of Halloween goodies. One was like it's like a skeleton vampire thing, and one is a ghost. Another witch, which it kind of looks like this scarecrow type of witch, which is cute. The 2 of these are kind of little clay figures. that are ornaments. And I love this like wire bit that's coming out the top of these. But they were both cute. This one has like a little dangly bit on it. And this one's flat, but still, I think that it looks really, really cute. They both look very Midwest folk. I think that this jack-o'-lantern guy was also a part of the same collection and that the witch was. This jack-o'-lantern guy, I think, was part of the same witch collection that Hallmark released some time back. So I thought he was really cute as well. How many times can we count how I say cute for each one of these? Because they're adorable. The last of the actual vintage stuff that I got from the estate sale were these little ghosts. They're really simple. They just have threads coming out of them, and they're made out of clay, it looks like. That one was like a mom ghost and like a baby ghost of some kind. And then this one has like a little lantern. And they just have this thin thread coming out of the top. Those are really great. Those were the end of the actual vintage. And then finally there was this miniature size jack-o'-lantern that I got from, I think it was Joann's. No, I got it from Michael's last year. It was in their miniatures department. And it glows. I have to change out the battery on it, but I thought I have a larger version of this, and I thought this was very cute and very vintage and would fit with the rest of my little small ornaments. And I put these in small spaces. As I've said, I like to get the little knickknacks and stuff to fill in the small spaces, but I also put them in different places on my coffee table every year. I have these lanterns. I think I have 2 of these. I don't know where the other one is right now. It's got to be in another container, but I have these. I forget where I got them, but they're not like super. I think I got them from Five Below. I want to say they're not high like quality or anything. Like you could definitely bend them a bit and everything, but I think they look really great and rustic, and when I put a candle inside of them, they glow perfectly fine. And I think that they are really great for maybe my trick-or-treat area, or even that Gothic area this year. So I've put them up around my credenza most years. I don't know. Maybe I won't even put them out this year, but they're really great. And sometimes you just need like basic things amongst all of your other decor. This isn't vintage, but it is a part of my collection. I think I need to have him out all year to go with my Friday the 13th NECA figure as well, but it's just this Frankenstein NECA figure. I love the cover on it and everything. Not vintage, but I got it for my movie area last year, and I love the packaging on this, and so it'll probably be out all year. And honestly, I'll probably put some of these action figures along with the VHS rental space, because I feel like, again, I'm not going for a Blockbuster or like a corporate type of rental space, but like your local one. And I feel like things like this would be still in a space like that. This was probably one of my first boxes that I got for the vintage candy boxes that I started doing. It is a Tootsie Roll Pop box, and it's very simple and great condition. And I think I got it for a box of 2, actually, this and the Milky Way box. So it still was a really great decision. This is huge, and I got for a really good price on eBay. So the things in here were for my 90s area last year, and our decor and makeup things. So I found these at the thrift store. They're just a bag of creepy bugs, and I don't know if they came out recently or if they're 90s. I know that they look like they're 90s just because of how they look and the container and the packaging and everything. So I put this among some of the Halloween stuff. It'll probably go in my Halloween stuff this year as well, just because it gives like trick-or-treat like party favors. I also have these 2 vintage neck bolt pieces. These are for they're like vintage costume pieces that I got on eBay. I still think these look amazing, and I guess the idea is that these are supposed to suction onto your neck. I don't know. I'm not taking them out of this packaging, but I do love how these look, and they look very vintage. I don't know where they're from originally, because when they're from, because there is no real marking on them, but I think from like the aging, it looks like they're definitely vintage. So I really love these, and they're going to go in my trick-or-treat area. Another vintage looking, but not sure if it really is, piece are these Halloween spiders. I also got these from the thrift store last year, along with those creepy bugs. Finally, if you've seen my last Halloween haul, you saw that on eBay, I got some vintage Halloween costume makeup pieces, and I mentioned how I don't want to get too much of that because I already had some. And here are the other three that I have. We have this Kooky Spooks ghoul makeup, which is fantastic. It even has all of the the directions on the back. It kind of looks like, I think they were called like Klutz back in the day. I think they even still put out stuff. But yeah, so I have this one, which was perfect for my 90s decor with these colors, and I thought it looked really amazing when they was all together. We also have this animal faces makeup as well. This was from 1989 because this has the actual, this one was from 1990. And then 1989, looking at the copyright on it. And then finally, we have this glitter dust, which looks as 80s as you can get. I mean, look at that. The copyright on that is 1989, but honestly, the amount of glitter and the nails and that makeup and that hair is giving far more than just 89. So all these together look really great, and they'll look good with the other ones that I got recently, which are a lot darker. I think it'll kind of calm down some of these bright colors for my trick-or-treat area this year. Finally, in the bottom of this box, I actually use this for my practical magic area, and it'll be going into my haunted mansion area this year as well. And that's this quack medicine. That's what they call it on eBay. If you want to find this yourself, I had to find that out. But it's quack medicine, and it's all of these different apothecary type of medicines and herbs that you would use. These vintage boxes of them. So these are thyme leaves, and some of these are still wrapped up because I don't want them to explode everywhere. There are 2 of these that came not wrapped, and so I did put them in Ziploc baggies so that they didn't explode everywhere. This is hops, and if you notice, like, it's just a great box. They looked really great in my apothecary last year, and I think it really sold the vintage witch aesthetic. So I think it's gonna look great in my like Madame Leota haunted mansion type of space this year. Tansy herb, and then we have in this Ziploc bag, it's open, so I'm not gonna take them out, but yarrow herb and spikenard. Not sure what that is, but they look great, and I got a great price for all 5 of these. Were in a bundle, and I think it was like 25 bucks, which was great because if you do look up the quack medicine, some people are trying to charge you that much for 1 box. Make sure that you're looking for a lot. I cannot say that enough. I know it. Go back and look at my how to Halloween hunt on eBay video if you want to see some more tips on how I find these things. But looking for a lot of things is going to save you a good amount of money instead of piecemealing it, because some people are just trying to get rid of this stuff. This I got from the thrift store, I want to say 3 years back. Honestly, my first Halloween haul video ever on the channel, which I think was the first video ever on the channel, featured this. And even then, I thought I overpaid for it because they overcharged it from its original price, but I still think it looks cute. And that's this little rustic like bag that has a jack-o'-lantern on the front of it. If you put like a light inside of it, it glows from the inside out, which it looks cool. It is a little sharp since it is tin and it is vintage. You could maybe do some damage, but I do think it's still cute, even though the original price on this was $175 and they charged like $2.99 on it, and I still bought it, but nonetheless. My final items from this box, and the final candy box that I have, is this Three Musketeers box. I really love it. As you can see, I try to get boxes that are of different shapes and sizes and looks. I try not to get the same thing twice. So yeah, I got this again on eBay, great price. And what's in here? I have it wrapped up in tissue paper, so I'm thinking there might be some candles or something in here. No, some great pieces are in here. So there are pieces that I was afraid on getting broken, and so I have them wrapped up. One of them is this. I painted this piece, and it's one of my trick-or-treat children that'll be sitting with my new Beth Milo children. It's originally from Hobby Lobby. That's the word. Back when Hobby Lobby used to sell Halloween. This is one of their old pieces from when they used to do that, and I found it on eBay. And I got this one, as well as there's another one that looks fantastic. And I ended up painting them just a little bit darker because at the time I couldn't get Bethany low. And I just washed them with some acrylic paint because that's how they basically paint on all of the other stuff. And it looks so cute. I love how this turned out. I love how they look. And my cute little witch. And I think the other one has a candle. So let me pull him out. Yes, he's so cute. They're so cute. Oh my gosh. So this was the other one, which really, really sold me on getting the duo. They look so cute and so vintage with their little candle and their little jack-o'-lantern. Like, I want to say it's just a toy, but this look is just adorable. It's like a little clown pajama set type of thing, and both of those together, I absolutely love them. They're going to look really cute with my other trick-or-treaters this year up in my vintage trick-or-treat area. And the last piece in this box on the journey that we thought would never end, it's another vintage piece. This is from Michaels. I know because it has an Ashland tag somewhere on it. Look at his little creepy face. It's very over the garden wall with their little witch broom, and they have this like little cape over them, and it's got the spelt, and then it has like this little paper mache bucket. I love this piece with the little witch hat. I can't believe that Ashland used to make this. I can't believe that Michaels used to sell stuff like this. When you hear people, if you're new to the Halloween hunt or whatever the case is, I'm new in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, when people complain about where Michaels is currently in their Halloween releases, it's because they used to put out stuff like this. It's because even like the Hobby Lobby like figures that I just showed you, stuff like that used to be in the stores. And now we have to go online and we have to go on eBay and buy vintage in order to even get this type of vibe anymore. And again, a lot of us are not saying that that needs to be removed from the stores. These collections, these new collections that they're putting out needs to be removed from the stores whatsoever. At least I'm not. All I'm saying is that at one point in time, you were releasing stuff like this and there was a market for people who wanted stuff like this. And now you cannot find it whatsoever. You have to go on eBay to get it. This is the stuff that I'm looking for when I go to Michael's and what I've been hoping for. But we just don't get stuff like this anymore. Warm, fall, Midwestern. These are the words that are coming to mind when I want to kind of decorate for a very specific vintage Halloween type of look. That is it. Y'all, we're not doing that other box, obviously. I can't believe how long this box took us, but I do think that at least that's good. You guys can look forward to a lot of videos of me going through my collection, sharing it with y'all, seeing what we have, seeing what's out there while we're seeing what we have and everything. Honestly, it was a huge serotonin boost. I think going into this, I was really worried thinking about my rental VHS store and being like, okay, maybe I need to like start really kind of finding some stuff on eBay. But I think doing this, it kind of sets it kind of straight that you're like, no, you have stuff. You just have to think outside the box. You have stuff that you love. I don't know. Some boxes may be better than others. But as far as this box was concerned, it had some of my favorite things because it also means that I don't need to feel so bad about not finding much out there right now. Like, I'm not doing huge hauls right now, and I'm trying not to do that. But this kind of really sets that, yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to do huge hauls. Let me know down below if any of these things kind of caught your eye, or you also are into the vintage Halloween, and even seeing that last piece from Michaels, if you could ever imagine, if you are new to Halloween hunting, Michaels ever going back to something like that. It would be great to hear them going back to like one collection that is feeding that soul again. I don't know, but subscribe down below if you're looking forward to any more videos like this. And please like today's video if you did like it. I will see you on the next one. Bye.